Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is CrazyZaku, and I'm bringing you all the hits and misses here in Let's Play Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, Justice for All. If you remember last time, we just accused the person on the stand of being the true murderer in this case and claiming that our client Maximilian Galactica is absolutely innocent. And now we just have to find a way to prove it. So I guess I'll just take it away from here. So again, forgive the bad acting, but let's just get right to it. Now I'm gonna have to prove how all it fits together. I have to show how Acro murdered Russell Berry. Can you do it, Nick? Can you really do that? I know what I can't do. I can't stop now. If I stop attacking, I'm doomed. All right, then let's do it. Mr. Phoenix Wright, if this witness is the killer, then his eyewitness account is all lies, right?
Mr. Wright, I'd like you to clear something up for me. When the crime was committed, exactly where was Mr. Dingaling?
Alright, let me just see if we can't find that.
Let's go with right here.
Take that!
He was obviously here the entire time.
That's Acro's room.
Pretty simple, eh? Acro wasn't able to leave the lodging house by himself. In that case, there can only be one correct answer. Acro didn't leave his room to kill the ringmaster. What? Are you nuts?
What say you, Mr. Dingaling?
Of course he's gonna deny it. It's an interesting theory. Yeah? That's it? Considering that what you proposed is impossible, yes, that's it.
Mr. Wright?
Yes, Your Honor?
As the witnesses stated, your assertion is impossible. As he is in a wheelchair, there's no way he could go to the scene or be the killer.
You've got a point. It seems you've forgotten once again, Mr. Phoenix Wright. The defendant was clearly spotted at the scene of the crime. That's true. Mo said that he saw Max, didn't he? But Maya, it's still impossible for humans to fly. Do you mind if I ask a question, Mr. Wright? What is it? I understand some of your logic. However, how do you think that I killed him? If I can't leave my room, I obviously couldn't wear Max's costume. How did he do it? That's the next course of this legal buffet. Oh, be careful, Nick. If you mess up here... She's right. I can't mess up here. I gotta give this one some serious thought. I'm sure that Acro killed the ringmaster, and he did it while he was in his room. No doubt about it.
Time to enlighten us all about how Mr. Dingaling committed the crime, Mr. Wright.
I'm gonna present some evidence.
So what did Mr. Dingaling use to commit the crime of murder against Mr. Russell Berry?
There's really only one thing he could have used. Where is it? Ah, there it is. Okay.
Take that!
What's that? A picture?
It is indeed. The problem is with the item that's shown in the picture. The bust? It's quite a large bust. One would almost say maybe Rangiku size, or even Orihime. And it's because it's life-sized. It's also very, very heavy. Heavy? Heavy enough to guarantee a certain death, especially if it was dropped from a third-story window. See, this is how Acro was able to kill the Ringmaster, with the force of gravity and Maximilian Galactica's ample bust. You can't say that line with a straight face.
Order! Order! So you're saying that the bus fell onto the Ringmaster?
A rather simple crime. Even if you were stuck in a wheelchair, it would be incredibly easy to commit.
Objection!
How could you possibly veer a wheelchair with something so heavy? It's impossible.
Objection!
Well, Acro is an acrobat. He should have more than enough upper body strength to carry something like the bust.
Mr. Dingling, how do you respond to these charges?
Well, Acro's at a loss for words. He should be. He knows I'm getting close to the truth. Well, Acro. You can't... Ow! I'd watch what I say if I were you, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Bitch! Your Honor, the physical health of the witness is material to this case. I demand that we get proper testimony from the witness himself.
Testimony, you say?
Von Karma. She's just using his testimony as a ruse to stall for time. And she's a bitch.
Objection!
There's absolutely no need for such testimony.
Objection!
The defense has its version of the murder. The prosecution has the right to respond.
The defense's objection is overruled.
Oh, why can't he say things my way once in a while?
Mr. Dingling, I'm sorry, but we need you to testify about your physical condition. If you have any doubts about your ability to testify, we can request expert testimony.
The witness will have no problems. However, let's all be respectful towards him. Thank you.
That woman will sink to any low to win a case.
I suppose I could have lifted something the size of that bust. I have a strong upper body from working as an acrobat, and only my legs were injured. However, lifting the bust and looking out the window would have been impossible. There's no way I could have exerted that kind of force on my lower body. That makes it impossible for me to have known the location of the Ringmaster's head. Thus, it would be unrealistic for me to drop the bust on him, don't you think?
I have no doubts in regards to this witness's testimony.
It was impossible for him to lift the bust and stick himself out far enough to look. Not to mention that he could not have known the location of the Ringmaster's head. A single false step would have led to even more severe injuries.
That's what I was thinking. What's your opinion on the matter, Mr. Wright?
My opinion is that he's full of shit. I'd still like to proceed with my cross-examination if that's okay. He's simply stalling. It's shameful, really. Shut up, bitch.
Objection!
Acro, you didn't really need to lean out of the window, did you? What are you driving at, Mr. Wright? You already knew ahead of time where the Ringmaster's head was going to be. Quite precisely, I may add.
Objection!
Your silly hinting at things is pointless, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Enough stalling. How about you show us some evidence? But I did such a good job at hinting.
Yes. Hurry up and explain things, Mr. Wright.
Maybe you should take a look at this. The key point here is the wooden box. The same wooden box that the victim was found hunched over. The same... The question is, who placed the wooden box here? When Bain and company saw the ringmaster, they didn't see him holding the box, which means that this wooden box was already placed at the scene of the crime.
Well, I have to admit that your theory makes a lot of sense.
The moment that the bust came falling down was exactly the same moment that the ringmaster lifted up this wooden box. Which means that the answers to all these questions and more is now crystal clear. You mean...
If the bust were to fall upon the point marked out by the wooden box,
there would be no way that it could miss the head of the victim. No.
Order! Why, this is unbelievable.
Finally! Some of these loose ends are starting to tie themselves up. Now I just gotta keep going, and there's only one way to go from here. Forward.
So the next question I have is, who placed the wooden box at the scene?
It was Mr. Dingling, of course. He connected it to a rope, and then all he had to do was lower it down. Ah! Allow me to vip some sense into you, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Oh, god damn bitch! The ringmaster's head could have been anywhere when he lifted the box. That's why the box was so specially made. Specially made? Indeed. It had the most peculiar feature. The box has a remarkable weight. Weight?
According to the court record, it weighs 20 pounds.
Just to lift up this wooden box would have required.
Oh, I see. One would have to squat down and lift up with their body, like an Amazon workforce power zone, wouldn't you say?
That's exactly what I was trying to point out. The box is also very large, much like Miss Von Karma's ego.
The box also has carrying handles on either side, doesn't it?
That is correct. To lift up the box, you'd have to squat down. Which means that no matter who you are, your head would be in approximately the same place. Fool! Does he even bother to listen to me anymore? I've heard what you have to say. I must admit, I'm shocked at your imaginative skills.
Did you do it? Did you place this wooden box in the plaza?
Mr. Wright may have a vivid imagination, but I could never have done what he was proposing. What? Mr. Wright, do you recall the original location of Mac's bust?
I kind of forgot.
Nick, don't tell me you're losing your memory already. No, let's not get carried away. Hey, stick out your head a little. I've just got this thing. A Maya kick.
Enough of that. No horseplay in the courtroom. And no kicking the defense attorney. According to the court record, the bus disappeared from the cafeteria.
I'd like you to remember one important fact, Mr. Wright. I could not possibly leave the lodging house by myself. Ah, that means... You understand what I mean, don't you? I may very well have been able to drop the bus from my room. However, how would I have gotten the bus from the cafeteria to my room? You see, Mr. Phoenix Wright, explain that! Don't forget, you said there was no accomplice. just exactly how the witness would have carried the bust from the cafeteria.
Yep, we definitely have a problem here. No place to get perplexed.
I've got to get my wits about me and prove how things happened once and for all.
All right, Mr. Wright, let's hear your explanation. How'd the witness get the bus from the cafeteria back to his room?
It's the fucking monkey, man.
Take that!
Monkey?
Everyone knows Money. He loves shiny objects of any size.
Oh, like when he stole the ventriloquist ring.
So, are you saying the witness had a monkey steal the bust?
Of course he didn't order the monkey to steal it. The monkey stole it on his own, and then he brought it back home.
Home? Money lives in Acro's room.
Acro's room?
Objection!
But the bust was bronze, wasn't it? Bronze isn't all that shiny.
Objection!
Maybe you should put the whip down sometimes and read the court record.
My, those are some very nice cards he's holding.
Yes, and they're made of platinum, which is very shiny.
Acro! Money is a strong monkey, right? It'd be easy for him to bring the bus back to your room.
If he wasn't able to handle that himself, I'd be on the market for a new roommate.
Order! Or I said order! Miss Von Karma! Where is the bust in question at this moment?
I don't know. We're searching for it as we speak.
This is a rather strange turn of events. Well, let's say that monkey had not stolen the bust. What would have happened then?
Well, in that event, something else would have been used as the murder weapon. Wait! You mean this bust was the murder weapon purely by accident?
It's possible. Maybe Acro saw Money's mountain of stolen goods and thought to use one of them.
Oh, he looks pissed.
Anyways, I think we've more than proven one critical fact. Namely, that it was entirely possible that Acro was the murderer.
Moron! I can't do female voices to save my life.
Mr. Wright's argument was so circular, I'm still a bit dizzy. However, his argument does hold water. There's no denying that.
Ah! Don't seem so flamboozled, especially by this fraud of an attorney. Fraud? Bitch? You've forgotten the absolute most important thing, Mr. Phoenix Wright. And what is that? You should know. You forgot your fraud of a magical client was spotted at the scene of the crime. Da! There is no reason to doubt the clown's testimony.
That's true. How do you respond to that, Mr. Wright?
Nick, don't let her beat you now. I won't. This is my chance to turn this trial around. When the murder occurred, there were two people at the scene of the crime. One was the victim, Russell Berry, and the other was the murderer himself. Answer this and only this, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Who was the murderer the clown saw? Did we not establish this already? It was the bust.
Take that!
Alright. Listen here, you little shit. Ah! I asked who was on the other person I asked who was the other person most saw on the scene. That evidence has nothing to do with the question.
Objection!
Listen here, bitch. Mo said that he saw Max's silhouette. But he did not actually see the man himself. It wasn't a human being he saw.
How is that possible?
It's simple, really. What Mo actually saw that night was Max's bust.
Objection!
What are you talking about? Have you tried using your brain at all in this case? The silhouette he saw was wearing a cloak.
Objection!
There's no reason why you couldn't attach a cloak to the bust. It
would be easy to hang one off of those cards in the bus's hands.
Idiot! Who in the right mind would put a cloak on a bust? It doesn't matter who put it on the bust.
Just wait a minute now, Mr. Wright. Who put the cloak on the bust? That question is of the utmost importance in this case. Don't you agree?
Oh, he caught me.
So let's have it, Mr. Wright. Who put the cloak on the bust?
There'll only be one person who did it. It's Russell. He had the cloak. He had the hat.
Take that!
Fool? Him?
You are saying it was the victim himself, Russell Berry?
That's what I'm saying. The victim himself placed the cloak on the bust? Place the cloak isn't really the right way of putting it.
Then what would be the right way of putting it, Mr. Wright?
Explain yourself. Nick, do you really have a handle on all of this? I'm fine, Maya. I'm finally putting all the pieces together. There's really only one picture I can paint anyways. All right. So you want to know what really happened that night? Let's step back in time. Acro used a rope to lower the wooden box onto the scene. Then he attached that rope to the bust and dangled the bust out of his bedroom window directly above the wooden box. At the same time, the ringmaster told Max to wait in his room and went to the scene. Of course, at the time, the ringmaster was wearing Max's costume. Perhaps he didn't want anyone to recognize him that night. But just as he feared, he was spotted at the entrance of the lodging house by none other than a ventriloquist and his puppet, Ben and Trillo. When the ringmaster arrived at the scene, he bent over to lift the wooden box. And that's when Acro took his chance and released the rope. Now this is when the magic happens. At the very instant that bust hit the victim, you wait just a second there, Mr. Phoenix Wright. As much as you try, as much as you scheme, this just isn't true. It can't be. It's still a little early to be getting so upset, Miss Von Karma. This circus isn't over yet. What? The impact of the bust on the victim threw the cloak up, which snagged onto the bust. That impact also caused the sound of a certain witness heard, prompting him to take a look. That witness was, of course, Lawrence Moe Curls, the clown. When Moe looked out on his window, the cloak had already snagged onto the bust. Now, having completed the crime, Acro naturally went about pulling up the murder weapon. Of course, he had no idea that Moe saw the bust being raised with the cloak dangling on it, primarily because in his wheelchair, he couldn't see out of his window. So he just kept holding the bust up. And that is how the magical murder disappearing into the sky came to be. Nailed it. So you see, the only person who could have pulled this off is the one person who was able to drop the murder weapon from above the crime scene. Acro, it could have only have been you. It wasn't me. Acro's been playing mind games with all of us? He sure has. But he has come to the end of his rope now. So, what now? You graced us with a rather long-winded tale. But do you have any evidence to prove that your fairy tale is true?
Evidence?
In this court, only two things matter: the power of evidence and the power of my whip.
Don't forget the power of my gavel as well. Mr. Wright, the prosecution brings up a good point. Can we see some evidence?
Nick, you say then what evidence? I just explained that there could only be one possible murder method, but there's still something unusual about Mo's eyewitness account. Unusual? A contradiction, actually. Okay, then use that and get us out of this jam.
That's enough talking amongst yourselves. Proceed, Mr. Wright. Present some evidence to the court that backs your claims. I want hard proof, giggity, that you have unraveled the trick to this magical case.
The problem is Max's 3 symbols. You know, the silk hat, the cloak, and the white roses.
Those symbols were a problem numerous times during yesterday's proceedings.
Yesterday there were 2 contradictions in Mo's testimony. The silk hat was one, the white roses were the other. But the theory I just presented explains all of those contradictions. You fool! Do you ever shut up? Max's silk hat was found at the scene of the crime. However, remember what Mo said yesterday. He testified that the criminal he saw fleeing the scene was wearing a silk hat. There's only one explanation for that. The silk hat that Mo saw was actually the bust.
Makes sense if you look at it in that way. That he did see a silk hat. Well, sorta.
Objection!
Fine, you've got the one, but what about the other contradiction?
The other contradiction?
Remember what that ventriloquist said in court? He said he said that he witnessed white roses on Max's chest that night. But the clown's testimony doesn't match. The clown said there were no white roses. I'd like to see you try and explain that one away. Can you do it, Nick? Of course. I can explain all of it. What was that? Please recall the instant when the cloak snagged onto the bust. If the cloak snagged onto the bust, what happened to the white roses? Do you get it yet? If the cloak got snagged onto the front of the bust, it means that the white roses would have ended up on the back of the bust. Which explains why Mo didn't see them. The white roses were not visible because they were on the back side of the bust.
Order! Order! This is quite the shocking state of affairs. Mr. Wright's theory still sounds a bit absurd to me. However, let's just keep going down this road for a while and see where it leads.
Let's do this, Nick. Then maybe Von Karma will finally throw in the towel. That does not look like she's throwing in the towel. God damn it. Well, so much for that theory. Mr. Wright, do you mind? What is it? You took the time to research our circus, didn't you? Well, yes, I did. Is there something making you think I didn't? If you did, then maybe you'd understand why I think you're off track. Why is that? Motive. This witness feels an incredible debt of gratitude towards the ringmaster. Anyone with any relation to the circus is well aware of this. I got your motive, bitch. Thus, there is absolutely no way someone like this would kill the ringmaster. Your Honor, I'd like you to hear Acro's story. Learn about his relationships with the ringmaster and his life up until now. Oh, what do we do? There's no doubting that Acro deeply respected the ringmaster. Acro's motive, huh?
It seems that this case isn't over yet. Very well. However, I feel this is a good place to take a break. I will listen to the rest of Mr. Dingling's testimony after recess. Everyone get a juice box. This court will now take a 10-minute recess. I will see you on the jungle gym, Mr. Wright.
All right, we're going to go ahead and save our game right here. And we're going to call this an episode right here. Next time, we're going to go into this. It's part 2 of this trial. Hopefully, we can, it's the end of this trial, and we can finally catch him. Because I know the motive why he would do it. And I'll tell you guys about it next time. In the meantime, folks, my name is CrazyZaku. I want you all the hits and misses here, and let's play Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, Justice for All. Please share this video with your friends, your family, your loved ones, your enemies, and everyone in between. Drop a DT on that like button, cover it for the 3, smack that subscribe button like it owes you some money, tingle that bell wherever it happens to be to stay up to date with all of our adventures here in and out of the courtroom, and I will see you guys later. Later.